Intense sequences of violence, disturbing thematic material, sexual content, some drug references, and language. Sci-fi violence and brief language. Which of these movies sounds worse for a child? If you think the first, then I agree, but apparently the Motion Picture Association of America does not. Taken, rated PG-13, The Matrix, rated R. Our movie rating system is far from perfect. A PG rating means one thing one year and another thing the next. It gives general warnings like parental guidance suggested, parents strongly cautioned, but not a lot of detail. Is our movie rating system ineffective enough that we should try to change it? I don't think so. I will present what's clearly good about our present system and then what's clearly bad about it. Next, I'll identify an ideal solution for how we could fix it, and then the most practical solution for what we should do about it. Let me share some statistics with you. Professors at the University of California at Irvine researched the frequency of every movie rating in the last 20 years. You'll see that they found that about half of the movies made were R-rated, and about half of them were sub-R rated. Shift your attention here to the age of frequent moviegoers. That means people who go to the movies more than once a month. This is according to MPAA.org. They report that 3/4 of frequent moviegoers are adults, where 1/4 are minors. Now let's compare these two charts side by side. Do you see how the proportion of sub-R-rated movies is almost double the proportion of minor moviegoers? There are far more movies being made tailored to children than there are being made tailored to adults. Clearly, our present system for rating movies doesn't keep any amount of children's movies from getting through. There are more than enough. Where then is the problem with children being exposed to inappropriate films? Well, we know that Hollywood as a whole is sliding down the spectrum of morality, but let's focus on problems within the current range. Consider this scenario. A father tells his 12-year-old son not to see a PG-13 movie. Will the theater stop the boy? No. That boy could even get into an R-rated film as long as he had some adult to accompany him, even without his father's permission. Clearly, the ability of children to circumvent age restrictions is the great flaw of our present movie rating system. Then should we change it? If that's how you feel, then you're not alone. Over the years, there have been many voices for reform. Among them was Roger Ebert, one of the most prominent film critics of the last decade. He proposed that only 3 ratings are really necessary: general audiences, teenage audiences, and adult audiences. He suggests that if you're not a teenager, you don't get into T films, and if you're not an adult, you don't get into A films. This would help with the problem of children being shepherded into wolf dens of inappropriately mature movies. But unfortunately, Ebert's proposition has generated virtually no momentum or conversation since it was put forth. In fact, no petition for such reform has ever produced any real results. After all, how many theaters or moviegoers truly want more restrictions on admittance to films? I submit that the best solution is not macroscopic, not revolutionary, but simple. If the MPAA won't enforce its guidelines, then why don't we? You're all adults. You're eligible to see any movie that you want. But aren't there some movies that aren't eligible for you? Aren't there some movies you know you shouldn't see, irrespective of the rating? What guides your decision if not a rating? Well, friends' opinions of the movies, critical reviews, the trailers themselves. You rely on more than just a rating. Well, if that decision works for you, then it will work for your future children. Yours will be the opportunity to decide what films your children will see and what films they won't. Yours will be the opportunity to teach your children why one film is okay and why another is not. It won't be perfect, but if a mistake is made, then your child will learn from it, and so will you. Remember what the Bible teaches: train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Our movie rating system is not ideal. Children can circumvent the very age restrictions that keep them safe. But the voices for change are simply not strong enough to make a change. It would be more effective for us to do what we can with what we have than to wait for what we wish would come later. Do your best. Rely on what's right. It's not about reform. It's about knowing what to watch and knowing when to watch out. Thank you.